Hey guys, welcome back to Julie and Jake's cooking show. Today we're going to make our classic brownies with chocolate chips and cocoa. So I hope you enjoy the video. So your first step is to preheat the oven to 350. And then hit start. Next you have to get a 9x9 pan and spray it with cooking spray. So today, for all the ingredients, you are going to need 1 whole cup of sugar, 1/8 cup of cocoa, and a little baker secret, 1/8 cup is also 2 teaspoons. Next you have to have 2 eggs, and we're going to beat them later in the video. Then it gets kind of complicated with the oil because you need 1/3 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. Like not one or the other, both of them combined. Yes. And then you have to have 3/4 cup of all-purpose baking flour. And we like to add our own special touch with 3/4 cup of mini chocolate chips. Next, we're going to beat our eggs one at a time. So we add our first egg and we stir it until all the yellow is mixed in with the white, like this. And then add the second egg and do the same. So when it's all mixed up, you're ready for your second step. So next we're going to have to combine our sugar and our cocoa. And now we're going to have to add our freshly beaten eggs. Wait, not yet. Okay, but we will add them when we start beating. So you're gonna mix it on the low speed for a little bit, and then like when it starts to combine, you add your eggs. But a little baker secret is to not add them all at one time. So after a little bit, when your eggs and cocoa and sugar start combining a little bit, on the side you can see like some cocoa and eggs. So what we do is we stop it, and then we take a spatula and mix it, or not mix it, but scrape the sides down. Now we're going to make sure we're getting all the ingredients all together, so we want to get it off to the side. A tip is to just scrape it down. It's much easier that way. And you just want to kind of get with the mixing bowl can't. But then after you're done scraping, you can mix a little bit longer. Yes. And now we're going to mix the brownies just for a little bit longer on low speed. And while we are doing that, we are wanting to avoid the mixer but get all the parts of the brownies in. Okay, so once all the mixture is mixed together, you can start your next step. Next, we are going to have to add our oil and stir it in. And the most important part is you have to stir it all in, and it'll be very, very, very liquidy. But we want to stir it in until it gets kind of a consistency like this. And now you are going to want to stir in your flour, which will make the consistency more like brownies. And it's okay if it goes a little bit everywhere. That's just better. And another baker's tip, if you don't want to scrape down the sides again and you need to get some flour off, what you do is like you tap the bowl and it gets some of the flour off. Yeah. Thank you for that tip. And don't expect these brownies to feed your entire family. These are just snack brownies. They're our classic snack brownies. And your next step is to add 3/4 cup of mini chocolate chips. and stir them in by hand, not by mixer, because if you do it by mixer, it can break the mixer sometimes.
Or break the chocolate chips, and you don't want that to happen.
Yes.
And you want to really get them in there because these are really chocolatey classic brownies.
If you don't mix it that well, there could be a bunch of chocolate chips in one spot and not a bunch of chocolate chips in another. Next, we need to put the brownies in the greased pan that we did at the beginning of the video.
And a baker's tip is that once you get it all in there, you want to spread it out just like this and make it all even.
So another little baker's tip is, like with cakes, you have to bang it like this to get all the air bubbles out. You can also do that with brownies so it gets a better texture, like this.
Now, since the oven is ready, we are ready to put the brownies in the oven.
And you should put it on the bottom rack because it bakes better. If you have a convection oven, which that means the fan just spins it, like in the back.
And you are going to bake these at 350 for
25 minutes.
Putting on a timer for the amount of time that the brownies will be in the oven is the best bet because it will remind you when it is done so you don't overcook. Okay, so while we are waiting on our brownies, we are going to make some delicious chocolate icing. Yes, so we can decorate the brownies when they are done and cooled. Next, with the small saucepan, you want to start it out with a low of about 7, and then we're going to start kicking it up to about 8 later.
Okay, so the ingredients are 1 cup of sugar, an 1/8 cup of cocoa, a 1/4 cup of milk, and a 1/4 cup of butter. Okay, so we have to check it now to see if it's done or not. So what you do is you take a toothpick and stick it in, and if it comes out clean, it's ready. So ours is ready.
Now for the icing, we have to add everything in a small saucepan. It's exploding. And this will need to boil for 1 minute. Now we must let the icing boil for 1 whole minute. Now that we have turned the burner off, we are going to move the icing from the saucepan and put it into the mixing bowl to cool. So now we need to beat until it is creamy. So now it's getting about to that creamy point where it's really not just liquidy, it's the texture. So now it is creamy and we can turn off the mixture.
Yeah.
And now the brownies are ready. So a little baker secret is to cut off the edges near the plate. So you want to kind of get it out so it won't be so hard to cut later.
No, don't say butcher's knife.
Not with the butcher's knife.
We must cut the brownie into
Do not do this at home.
Without
parent supervision.
Or at all.
Now it's the fun time and we get to put the icing that we made earlier in the video on the brownies. The trick is to make it light and fluffy, but also have fun. A fun baking secret is to pour some powdered sugar on the brownies to make them look more professional to your friends, and they will taste more professional. Now that we have finished our brownies and iced them and put the powdered sugar on, it's time to eat the finished project. But before we do, we want to share the recipe with you. It was the classic brownies, and a fun thing to do is put all these recipes on recipe cards so you can keep them. Now it's time to eat. These are good.
These actually are good. I'm surprised.
Powdered sugar, put them over the top, guys. These are the best brownies ever.
The bloopers!
Brownies. Ow.
Next, we want to grab a small saucepan, and we want to put the burner on about... now we must turn the burner off.